Oh, I've never looked better. Hello, everyone, and welcome to, I believe we're 42 now, episode 42, 43, something like that, of the Reload Show. I am here with my fellow hosts, Mark Sullivan, Sean Richard. I'm Candido Diaz. Fellas, welcome back after a long weekend. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. Refreshed. Kind of took it easy for once this whole weekend, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Mark looking good and all clean shaven. Whoa. I don't even know what to do with that.
Can I be 100% transparent with you? When I sent that message earlier, I had not shaved yet. And I was like fully woolly here. And so this is like 10 minutes ago.
I guess you clean up fast. Sean, what's going on? Welcome back.
Man, I had a busy weekend. So my oldest daughter, I got three kids, right? I got three kids. My oldest daughter turned 9 on Sunday. And so it was a kind of a crazy weekend. Saturday, threw a shindig at the house for her, lots of friends over, family. Sunday, she got to pick everything that we did from waking up to going to bed. She got to choose everything, the food, the entertainment. So she was ecstatic. So we had a good day on Sunday. And then yesterday, and I'll share this a little bit more, I had a mishap yesterday that's going to haunt me for the rest of this week. So, so overall it was good, but it was much needed rest after a pretty crazy week, event-packed week last week.
Nice. All right. Well, why don't we just get right into it, go with our wins and losses for the week. Sean, you teased us. Why don't you just lead off?
I can do that. Am I coming through? Okay, yeah. Let me change my.
Yes. Don't worry, we'll tell you when you're not.
Yeah.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Nice. Yeah. So wins and losses, man. So my loss, we'll start with there. My loss for this past week really came yesterday. So as you guys know, I do indoor rock climbing. I go 3 times a week. And I didn't go Sunday because of my daughter's birthday and everything that we were doing. So I decided to go yesterday with the Labor Day holiday, and had a great session. I was there for 2 hours. It was fantastic. Right towards the end of my session, I was in a precarious position up on the wall, and my foot slipped.
You don't say.
Yeah, my foot slipped, and on the way down. So let's imagine like this is a hold on the wall. On the way down, my foot goes full weight of my body, just kind of goes like that. So imagine this is my ankle right here. Totally wrecked my ankle. I was hobbling around the rest of the day. I could walk on it, but it's definitely tender. So that was definitely my loss for the week. My win, guys, was, and I know we're going to get into this. I'm going to tease a little bit. My win was attending the Tom Ferry Summit, the Success Summit last week. I was there for 2.5 days, and it was incredible. met some amazing people, got some amazing content, and I'm really excited at some of the nuggets that I get to bring back to my partners and other real estate agents here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's awesome. The one of the perks of being able to live into the most easily traveled to city in America, Dallas. All the events are there, so super. I'm just gonna throw out some of my jealousy there because, well, I mean, you would think Nashville would get more industry events, but we don't.
Boston doesn't either. It's okay.
Boston's extremely difficult to get through.
Nobody likes the East Coast cold weather, and I don't really know how many people actually like country music. So
it was 47 degrees this morning.
That is dreadful. That's winter. That's winter time.
Good times. Good times.
Candido? What about you? Wins and losses?
Yeah. So last week, I think I alluded to it a little bit. It got even crazier. It was the busiest week I've had in probably about 3 years. My wife was traveling. So she was away, and it was the first week of school for my oldest daughter. So I'm just happy I made it through alive, to be completely honest. But it was a ton of fun. It's always nice being busy. But yeah, it was definitely one of those moments where it's, I felt like I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off for most of the week. So I could kind of take that with being both the win of the week and definitely the loss, just because it was nuts. I didn't know which way was up for a second. I did want to say another win I had. It was pretty cool. I had somebody reach out to me on LinkedIn this weekend. And basically he had seen an interview that I had done with Shane Kidwell. I forgot I even did it like 6 months ago, and alluded to that when he tried to connect to me. So I thought that was pretty cool. Remember, the stuff that you put out there on the internet actually stays on there forever. So just something to, in this case, it was positive, but just something.
What happens on the internet stays on the internet.
Yeah, something like that. Mark, how about you?
Oh, I outside of the whole refreshing 3-day weekend thing that we just had, took a few more applications, had a lot of positive phone calls at the end of the week. Just continuing, basically what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks is just calling as many people as I can, asking them questions, trying to figure out where they're at, and setting up a plan for as when rates come into their targeted area, what our plan of attack is to get them out on the market, get them into a house as quickly as possible, because we do know that it's going to be such a tremendous seller's market whenever that does happen. We just want to make sure everybody was in their place. And I do feel, because I'm having these conversations, when people are ready, they think they're going to be ready quicker than they think they are. I've already got them prepared. And in my opinion, I've taken most of them out of the market for shopping, that is. I've already taken them out of the market and ready to go with me. Whereas instead of thinking to themselves, oh, who do I need to go to get pre-approved? I think we've already decided that. We've got a game plan moving forward. And it just trying to get ahead of things a little bit while I've got some time to be able to do that. So we're going to call the positive conversations a win. Losses, I don't really have a whole lot. So we're going to stick with that.
Mark, I'm going to need more losses out of you going forward. Yeah, Mark.
Losses low. My pipeline's low. My pipeline's pretty low. We're going to call that a loss.
We need some sound bites, guys. We need to drop some sound bites when certain things happen, man, or when Mark says I never lose. So it's all good.
We can call my lighting in here the loss for the week. I look like a Sith Lord. You can't see my eyes, but anyway. Candido's is
that was perfect timing. It just went dark in here. All right. Well, I think we had a pretty good tease with Sean and telling us about the Tom Ferry event. So, Sean, why don't you lead us off and tell us what we are discussing this week?
Yeah, so I'm excited, especially that I just went to this event last week. Really, we're honing in on how to maximize your motivation. Our industry has its emotional roller coaster, right? We've all got highs, we've all got lows. couple contracts come in, and we're feeling on top of the world, feeling great, like cool, posting a large month. And then, something happens, or we get a low appraisal, or something, we have a real estate partner that, that gives us some grief. And all of a sudden we're like, oh man, like what's going on? And so I love making it a point to get to at least a couple of industry events every single year. And so last week I was at the Tom Ferry Success Summit. Now you may be like, well, Sean, the Tom Ferry Success Summit is a real estate agent event. What are you doing there as a lender? And really, I posted this online, but there's 3 critical reasons that I went there, and I kind of alluded to them earlier. Number one is any of these industry events, whether it's for real estate agents or whether it's for us as loan officers, there's going to be some level of mindset content. And I absolutely love that. I always want to make sure that I'm in the right mindset going forward. And so from that aspect, any of these events are typically phenomenal motivators. Anytime the motivation is starting to wane a little bit, these summits or these events really help pump some energy back into me. The second reason was I got to meet some amazing people. I was there for 2.5 days. I met some amazing real estate agents. I met some title representatives. And not everybody was local. I mean, there was 6,000 people at this event. A ton of them had flown in from out of state. I got to meet some great people from Hawaii. I got to meet some amazing people from California, which is not common. Not a lot of amazing people in California. So, or at least maybe the state is not. There we go. The state is not as amazing. Tons of amazing people, but they're finding their way here to Texas or Florida. So
all hate comments go to Sean Richard.
All hate comments
Sean,
Sean.
Richard.
Yeah. But I met some amazing people, and then thirdly, I love soaking up content, strategies, tools, resources that I can then bring back to my real estate partners. And what's really interesting for this particular summit was the major theme of the summit was really telling real estate agents, you need more listings. Focus on listings. Listings drive the market. And by the end of 2.5 days, I left there and I became a listing agent. So guys, I'm not even in mortgage anymore. I'm actually just a listing agent.
For sure.
But what was really cool though is even though that was the theme, there were so many nuggets that I could bring back to my real estate agents and help them generate more listings. And as a loan originator, I want to work with buyers, but ultimately if they're generating more listings, some of those listings are going to be buyers. So I'm helping them make more money, and they're generating more clients as well. And kind of lastly, the major undertone of the entire conference as well was we've got to think bigger. And I really took that to heart. And that was a motivating phrase for me throughout the 2.5 days is got to think bigger. Whatever I'm doing, I need to 10x that. I need to, if I'm teaching, home buyer classes, I need to do more of those. If I'm teaching, I like to teach classes to real estate agents. I need to do more of those. It's really, we've got to think bigger than just the small potatoes that we do on a daily, weekly basis. And I think that mindset really for me, I don't want to say shift, but that mindset reinforcement was huge. And so industry conferences, I find to be massive boosts to my mentality and kind of reinvigorate me on the industry.
Yeah, I think it's, look, I don't know if this is the time to tell our love story, how all 3 of us met. It's maybe that's a different way of putting it, but look, we all met at industry conferences, right? And I think it's important for you to go and be around like-minded individuals, right? I mean, it's one of those things as well where I think you get what you put into it, right? If you're yes, by just being in the room, it's going to help you, but by being in the room and also introducing yourself, Sean, one thing I don't think you had mentioned, you'd mentioned to us that your goal was to meet 25 new relationships, 25 new realtors or whatever. That's a great goal because then you have something to look forward to. You kind of check off, okay, I met this person, this person. It gives you a reason to not only be there, but to also start those conversations.
Well, and that's a great point, Candido. And I'll say this. So yeah, my goal is to meet 25 people and start building relationships. And although I didn't hit that number, I got a large percentage of it. And, and I went in not really, you know, setting a target for that can be tough. And it kind of was tough for me because I'm like, man, I don't want to just pick a number, shoot for the number, and then have like some shallow relationships, right? Like I want to build strong relationship and have good conversations. I don't want to be like, oh, hi, I'm Sean. Who are you? Oh, great. Hi, I'm Sean. Who are you? Oh, great. So setting a number was kind of tough for me because I didn't want it to be, oh, we'll just talk to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. But I felt 25 was reasonable over 2.5 days. But I think to your point, Candido, and Mark, you can elaborate on this. Just the fact that I had intentionality behind what I wanted to accomplish, in addition to just absorbing the content, was really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love events, and it's been a minute since I've been on them. We've had issues trying to get there in the past. I don't know. I'd say a year or so. It's been tough. There hasn't been as many. Just because of the seasons that we're in and things like that. But it is so important, in my opinion, to have things like that because you get in ruts, right? You get in, I call them self-imposed ruts. But like, even if you have a plan, a daily plan set out every single day, it gets stale and you're not always maximizing that plan the best that you can. And when you attend these events, you hear from like-minded people who are doing things similar to you, and it allows you to get an outside view, and it allows you to tweak what you're already doing. If you're not going to implement new things, it allows you to tweak what you're already doing, and maybe hit that extra 20 to 30 miles an hour in your daily goals or what it is that you're doing. But for me, I know Sean's going to touch on the actual event things, but for me, it's all about what we're doing outside of those events. It's all about the people that you can meet. I like to go to events that are like 3 days long, at least 2 days long, where it's going to force the attendees to be there, 3 nights, hopefully.
Preferably in Mexico,
Yeah, you never know, whatever you want to do there. But actually mingling with people, talking outside of those events. I've learned 90% of what I've learned in this industry from doing those things. I take less away from the actual speakers, not to knock on it, but it's usually when guest speakers come in or speakers come in for an event, they're usually just going to go over their highlights of what you can see on their YouTubes anyway. Like it's not, it's nothing earth shattering usually at the event, but it's the conversations you have about that stuff later on. That's the real, deal maker, I guess. So if you're one of those people that attend events and just go to your hotel room and hang out until the event starts again, I think you're missing 80% of it.
That's a fantastic point. I mean, that's essentially how all three of us met. It's while you're at the event, of course, everybody's sitting there and listening. You go out to lunch, go out to dinner, attend the happy hours. That's where you're going to meet lifelong friends like you guys, and it's where you can exchange ideas, exchange contact info, because you never know. Hey, it might not help you today, but it could help you tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. So that's a fantastic point, Mark. Sean, what else do you got for us? That you learned from this last event.
Well, I like what you guys are touching on, because really what you're talking about is best practices, right? What are some things that are important to do when you're going to these events? and I'll make an observation. So, at the Tom Ferry Success Summit last week, there were a lot of agents that would get up and go take care of business outside of the room, and they'd be gone for half the day. And I think a major best practice is be present, show up. If everyone in that room paid to be there, and so if you're going to pay to be there, take advantage of the time that you have. Find a way to minimize the distractions. Most people don't sign up for an event that's happening tomorrow, right? They sign up for an event that's happening next month, 2 months, 3 months from now. I've got another industry conference in October that I signed up for at the beginning of August, right? It's not a surprise. And so I can plan accordingly to where I can minimize the distractions while I'm at the event. There were so many agents that stepped out and they weren't really getting the benefit of the content or the interaction with other people. So I would say a huge best practice is plan accordingly. Set your business up for minimizing distractions. If you don't have a team, find a way to set expectations or to create efficiencies in your business that allow you to be gone for 1, 2, 3 days and not have to dive back in full every single day. Whether that's pick 2 times during the day. Hey, at lunch I'm going to go hard on playing some catch up, and then once the conference breaks, I'm going to play some catch up, and then I'm going to go out to dinner, or I'm going to go to a happy hour event at the conference. I think strategically inserting those work times around the main conference opportunities, I think is a huge best practice. So that was a big time observation. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, and Sean, on that note, it's easy to sit there and say, yeah, well, those people that can sit there and devote all that time, they've got, like, specifically speaking to real estate agents here, because it was a Tom Ferry Summit, but loan officers are the same way. Where it's like, oh, that guy's got a team. So like if call comes in, they can be fully focused in. I'm just a one-man show. But when you're at an event like this, just like you said, you paid to be there. You paid to hear that content that's going on. It's one thing if you have a client that's having an emergency that has to talk right this second, and you have to step out for it. That's okay. But chances are the people that you saw walking out to have a conversation in that situation were not dealing with an emergency. They heard their phone go off. They stepped out and they answered it no matter what. And what they probably did, they probably got caught up having conversation and thinking to themselves, man, this is not a conversation I have to have right now. I can't believe I'm missing part of this. I can't believe I'm missing what this guy's saying because this client called me and is having a relatively, low importance call that they could have easily pulled their phone out, texted, hey, I'm in a conference right now. Is this an emergency? If so, I can step out. And that person would have said, no, call me back later. And because most people, they're so afraid of missing a phone call that they'll step out no matter what. And I think you probably saw a lot of that going on at that conference. I know I see it at a lot of the events I go to where people are like, man, I wish I would have taken that call. I missed all of what that person said.
Well, that's a great point, Mark. And that's exactly like having a plan for, okay, well, I'm going to this conference. What is my plan for how I'm going to address incoming needs? And so, yeah, somebody leaves, somebody calls, cool, let it go to voicemail. Guess what? There's usually about a minute between speakers, right? Use that minute to check the voicemail. Determine, hey, is this an emergency? Is it not an emergency? If you can't tell from the voicemail, send them a quick text. Don't feel like you've got to pick up the phone and make that phone call, right? Shoot them a quick text. Hey, Mark, this is Sean. Just got your voicemail. Is this something urgent, or can I give you a call today at 5:15?
Yeah.
Right. And then, navigate your day like that. I think there's a lot more opportunity for that versus, I think, and I'm guilty of this too from time to time, is I think we're all very much susceptible to say, oh, like you said, Mark, phone call coming in, everything's an emergency, everything has to be addressed right away.
Always
and
available. Yeah.
When I do that, I feel as though I don't have control over my business, and I'm always looking for better control over my business.
It's the opportunity cost, right? Like you look at it as, yeah, you might miss that one call, but what if you're missing an idea that can lead to 10 more additional loans, right? So it's you're paying to be there. You gotta actually be present. All great point, guys. Great points. Anything else as we kind of start to wrap this one up?
I'd say if you're somebody that doesn't do a lot of that kind of stuff, find one that's close to you. Find an event. I think one thing that consistently separates good performers from bad performers is surrounding themselves with like-minded people and wanting to grow. So many people will put themselves on an island thinking they're, that they have what it takes to get to the next level and they don't need anybody else's help, or they decide that, oh, I don't want to spend $500 on that. I don't want to spend, $1,000 on that. It's worth it. Go. You're going to meet lifelong friends. You're going to meet people that are going to challenge you. You're going to meet people that make you a better loan officer or real estate agent. And you're going to meet people that are going to make you a better human being overall. So honestly, go to as many as you can, but find one that's close to you and get your feet wet. I know you won't regret it.
Well, there's typically a ton of top producers in our industry at these events. That's not an accident, right? Like they know the value of what you just said, Mark, is surrounding yourself with like-minded people, with big thinkers. And so there was so many top producing agents at the event. It was really an exciting environment to be in and around.
Yeah, and I would say a couple things. One, if you're the smartest person in the room, find a new room, right? While we keep saying like-minded individuals, it's you want to be in the type of environment that works for you. There's a ton of these different types of conferences that are out there that have different styles. Some are more classroom style, like I attended last month. Some are more of like a almost like a party theme. There's so many different styles for these types of events. You have to make sure you find what's right for you, but make sure that you're there with people that are going to help push you and develop you, because that's the whole reason why you want to go to these types of events.
Agreed. So
For sure.
go find one, find two, go to the event. I personally like to travel for the events, although again, I'm here in DFW, so a lot of them travel to me. But find one or two events. Start with one. I like to go to one or two, at least two a year. Find an event, check it out, and if you're more of an introvert, work on getting out of your shell and network and surround yourself by the right people.
Bingo.
Love it. All right.
Right.
Well, fellas, thanks for breaking that down. That was pretty good. Like I said, we all met at conference events here. So and we still go strong every week. So every Tuesday you can tune in at 12 Eastern, 11 Central, and whatever other time zone that you're tuning in from. We are here each and every week. I am Candido Diaz, Mark Sullivan, Sean Richard. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
All right. Peace out.